Hi everyone, Gianni DePoci here with you for TheoTrade, and today is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. It's the last day of the year, the last day of the month, and we are capping off what has been an absolutely incredible year here at TheoTrade in terms of trading the stock market. And today we're selling off a little bit, going out on a quiet note, but I am actually embracing this pullback here. I don't think it's anything really to be concerned about just yet, but there's a really good saying out there in the investment or trading world that goes like this. And it's that volatility is the price that we pay to invest. And so we are still very much in a bull market in stocks. And a little bit of selling, I think, right here is setting us up to reset the market sentiment, which what has been very bullish for a significant portion of this year. But this sell-off is serving to reset the market sentiment, kind of help the market build a new energy base from which it can continue its rally into 2025. And it's really unusual actually to see the Santa Claus rally period uh, be filled with selling. But I will remind you that the Santa Claus rally period still goes on when we come back from the holiday tomorrow into the new year, and it continues on to Thursday and into Friday as well. So we'll see. Perhaps we get a nice snapback rally here. You'll see the S&P kind of just going sideways. To me, just consolidating its gains. If you take a look at the near term or the short term action, had a little bit of a rally here. We'll see how we shape up into the close. You take a look at the NASDAQ. We are down a little bit more in the NASDAQ. We'll see if we hold that low from December 20th. But again, I will reiterate that it is a rather unusual thing to see straight selling like we've seen over the last 4 days in this Santa Claus rally period. The Dow is actually holding up all right at the moment, and I continue to have my eyes on the semiconductor sector. I've been talking about this with members quite a bit and how we had this, big advancements in the quantum computing space with the Willow chip. At what point do we kind of see some of that innovation start to be subcontracted out to some of these semiconductor names? That is something very much within the realm of possibility, as we still have our bullish positions in on Nvidia, which, by the way, has been holding up pretty well over the last couple of weeks. You take a look at Broadcom still consolidating its gains nicely. We are doing a little bit of bottom fishing here in Nvidia, or excuse me, in advanced micro devices, trying to play the bounce off support. We'll see if that takes. This stock has been correcting now for about 9 months. We've basically cut the stock price in half over the last several months here, and so I think there might be some value to be had. Micron still having some issues, but we'll see if the participation in the semiconductor sector begins to broaden out. I know in the watch list for the Trinity trade, I've been actually adding a couple of names to the list from the semiconductor sector. Let's take a look at some of the big tech names here. Apple, a couple days off from its all-time highs. Not far from our upside target at 265. We did get as high as 260, so that has been looking good. Might be due for a little bit of an extended pause in this name here, but I really like the price action in Google. It's a big reason why I think that people are not taking this quantum computing development seriously enough, because I think with the developments that we've seen in artificial intelligence over the last several months here, that Google's identity, so to speak, as a search engine could be shifting more towards a quantum computing name. And you take a look at this monthly chart here. By the way, such a valuable exercise that I've found over the years is at the end of each month, at the end of each week, kind of just going through those time frames and various stocks that you're tracking. But when it comes to Google here, trying to close out at its highest monthly level in history, I wouldn't exactly call that bearish. Netflix still going sideways. You have earnings for that coming up sooner rather than later. Hey, Meta looks like it's going to be consolidating for a while now, but Tesla still holding up pretty nicely, even though you're down 2.5%. We're looking for a higher low here, and I'm seeing some signs that the bottom could be closer than we are to the beginning of this sell-off. So I still like what's happening on that front. And of course, Amazon going sideways near the high here too. So, what are going to be the new leaders in this market? going into 2025? Well, it's something that we tackled in the Trinity trade. We did that. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and visit www.theotrade.com/TT. But in terms of other opportunities in this market, I'm definitely interested in what the big rally that we've seen in bonds. You're selling off today, but you had a big bid the previous day. And I'm still not totally ruling out a potential drop in energy prices. I know that crude oil is going out near the highs of the month here, but really not that convincing of a rally in December. Now, if we start to accelerate higher in January, we'll have to change our tune on that, but I'm not really ready to get completely bullish on crude oil until we break above resistance at 76, 78. I think we're going to see some big changes in energy policy, perhaps some changes on the geopolitical front that could lead to a drop in energy that could be bullish for tech, which, by the way, the strongest performing sector in the S&P this year was XLC Communications. But if you shorten up that time horizon and take a look at, from the second quarter, from the third quarter, from the fourth quarter, the best performing sector was consumer discretionary. And so this is the market telling us that there's confidence in the consumer right now. I've been looking at some trades recently and some tech related names like Bill.com. I think we have some good support under the market where we are right now. So we have a swing trade operating on that. And even AppLovin, one of the strongest stocks in the market this year. And you still have an opportunity, I think, perhaps for some more upside, unless we get a little bit more sideways action. But I still think the risk reward is good. Now, you take a look at China. So not a lot of people talking about China right now. There's been some stimulus news. You had that big burst higher in prices back in September, but I think we're kind of sleeping on what could be happening in this country with respect to their equity market in 2025. If you asked the average person on the street today, do you think the US or the Chinese market outperformed? Which one of them outperformed in 2024? I bet you that most people would respond US because that's where all the coverage has been, that's where all the hype has been, that's where all the, big names breaking out has been taking place. But when it comes to China, okay, the Chinese market FXI has actually outperformed the S&P in 2024. And that's what I like about it, the fact that it's done so very quietly under the radar. So, we've been looking at some opportunities in the main room and like in names like Kifu Technology and GDS Holdings. So still treading carefully in this area, but I think that could be a big theme going into 2025. And you also have some other names in the tech space like 810 Networks holding up very well. Atlassian still holding up in support right now. And I think these are themes that we need to continue to look at, especially when it comes to tech. Tech is kind of finishing in the middle of the pack this year in terms of outperforming and just in the sector performance rankings against its other sectors. And I think that's going to change in 2025. I think tech will reemerge as a leader once again. And you're seeing that kind of play out in names like Roblox, which is continuing to hold up very nicely against its peers. We've had a position in this now for a couple of weeks, and it's holding up very nicely. So that's what I'm looking at right now. You jump over to cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin still spinning its wheels. I'm seeing some calls for a bigger drop in Bitcoin. I think the most frustrating thing that could happen in Bitcoin right now, or just crypto for that matter, is for some sideways action. In fact, I do like Ethereum better than Bitcoin still. I think there's a lot of value to be had in Ethereum at the moment. And so I think we should be aware of that. But, for the first time in many, many months, I actually don't have any crypto related names in the portfolio. We did take a shot at HUT recently on a swing trade. We did get stopped out yesterday. We're down on that today. So I think there might be a little bit more wheel spinning to take place in Bitcoin. It'd be nice to build, another base from which prices could rally afterwards. But I think this is going to frustrate a lot of the bears, and I think it's going to put people to sleep, which is what we need to happen for another bull run to happen in 2025. So, you know what they say, as goes January, as goes the year. I don't really buy into that all that much because I've seen, plenty of instances where the opposite happens, traded through them myself. So we'll keep an eye on that. But for all in all, guys, just wanted to thank you all for a really Great year here at TheoTrade in 2024, and we're looking to take it to the next level in 2025 with the $1 Million Challenge with Don Kaufman and myself. Stay tuned for a couple more announcements on that very shortly. And of course, the Trinity Trade, which we just launched this past week, last week, and that's live. So if you want to learn how we 4 times or quadrupled the performance of the S&P 500 in 2024, visit www.theotrade.com/TT. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and wishing you all a happy new year. We'll see you on the other side. Thank you.